Duel Review is brought to you by NexusDigitalComics.com. On today's Duel Review, it's Dragon Age, the video games. I'm RJ.
And I'm Nick.
Let's get to it.
Welcome to Tuesday the 29th of November. We are doing the video games Dragon Age.
That's right. Dragon Age Origins in 2009, and then the expansion Origins Awakenings in 2010, and Dragon Age 2 in 2011. I'm not sure if there's another one on the way, so don't ask me that.
I believe there is.
Probably. The first two have been, very successful. The first one actually more than the second one, which is interesting to me, because I really enjoyed the second one. But there are some drawbacks. Anyway, Dragon Age is kind of one of those properties. It's another, elf, dwarf, mage, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very successful, especially in the game world. They have had card games and a comic with Dragon Age as well. I think
they have
there's
a
also
novel?
a novel. I think so. Anyway, the first game, you are in the world of Ferelden. That's their world. And like I was trying to say earlier, it kind of doesn't feel too much different than like the world of WoW or something. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of plugs in. It's almost forgettable as far as the lore seems to be about the same. There is a big religious tint to it, with the Maker kind of being the god, and there's there's Templars and the Circle of Mages and yada yada yada. The world is very uncomfortable with magic and mages, at least at this incarnation, and you can be a dwarf or an elf or whatever. You can be a rogue, you can be a mage. So you choose yours, and the cool thing is that depending on the species that you choose, you get the first third of the game, maybe first quarter of the game is completely unique to that species, dwarf or elf or whatever.
Right.
Race, I guess. I think species. So another thing that makes the game unique is the kind of party system that they have. You get 4 members in your party. Very rarely do they choose one that you have to have in your party. So it's pretty much, whoever. I mean, your main character, of course.
Right.
And then whoever other 3. In the first one, there's like a dog that you can have, and there's a canary, and so yeah, there's a lot to pick from. That's to the game's credit for sure. Is they get a good stable of diverse characters. They have a good mage and a dark mage. Like a dark mage that's into blood magic or something. It's like you get to choose really your camp. You got pretty rich inventory systems and skill systems, especially in the second one. I think the skills are...
Second one being Dragon Age 2 and not Awakening.
Yeah, the second major release.
Okay.
The third game, I don't know how to say that. I mean, because there's lots of expansions. The third one that you could physically buy in stores.
Gotcha.
Dragon Age 2. It has even... a deeper set of skills, skill trees and whatever.
Right.
And so you go a lot of places. They have a lot of different places in Ferelden that you travel. And a lot of these games is actually waiting for load screens, so I can kind of, that's a negative definitely for this game. The first one was a 9 out of 10. It came out after Mass Effect. Mass Effect, of course, is a big hit as well. Mass Effect definitely, they have the shooter mechanic, which this does not have.
Right, because it's more medieval and it's got
right. I mean, yeah, and because it came out around Mass Effect, a lot of people seem to choose one or the other. I like both of them, but
yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Dragon Age. I prefer Mass Effect personally because I don't know. I like the idea of the space combat, the first-person shooter or third over-the-shoulder shooter, I should say. And just how your decisions affect things. I like the fact that you can choose a love interest or whatever.
Well, you can do that in Dragon Age too.
Well, okay. I didn't really play Dragon Age. I played the first one. I didn't really care for it.
Definitely when comparing to Skyrim, which is I know what you're talking about. The choices are much more limited. But it's a brilliant game and a pretty open game. I mean, there's lots of things you can decide. So then there's Awakenings, and Awakenings, you have a Darkspawn that talk, and Darkspawn are kind of like the mindless enemy, they're like
Todd McFarlane's
incarnation of evil. Yeah, they are, they are the nameless rabble of victim. It makes me think of Lord of the Rings for sure. like
like
the golems and the goblins and the
orcs and goblins, yeah.
But anyway, so the second one, it's a big enough expansion. You get a new team. It's right after the first one in time.
The second one being Awakening or Dragon Age 2?
Awakenings, the second major release.
Okay, Awakenings.
But it wasn't really a big departure or new story. I don't think it tested too well. I don't think people really cared that much. The second one that just came out, again, got a lot of good press.
Yeah.
It changes the combat system a little bit, which definitely helped it out. You no longer have to jump to a character to have them perform it, perform the spell or whatever. You don't have to pop in and out of characters. That was annoying with the first one because you never quite knew. Has my magic cooled down because I need to heal us? But you have to jump over to your mage character. It's like, oh, it's not cooled down, but mages can't do anything. So like do anything else. So
right.
I got to jump to my other character, and then
much like any of the Lego games where you have to jump back and forth between like C-3PO and Luke and
right. But this one's like in the middle of heated combat.
Yeah, I know.
It's just that part was frustrating, but they've kept the inventory system and the upgradable stuff, which Mass Effect 2 kind of dropped. It'll be interesting to see if 3 brings it back.
I'm hoping. Well, I love Mass Effect 2, so I can go either way.
I didn't miss it too much, but I do kind of wish there was a little bit more customization. But anyway, and then 2 also, another thing, maybe it's a small thing, but your character actually has full voice, which the first one didn't.
Right.
So that's great. So apart from that, 2, they have a different kind of location. I mean, it's still in Ferelden, of course, but it's Kirkwall is the area. And it's pretty much limited to that. And I was actually really surprised. I was playing through this game not too long ago, and I was like, when am I going to leave Kirkwall? Because you just kind of go from this part to this part, back to this part. You do go up into the mountains a little bit, but that's it. And the other game, you spend a little bit of time here, and then you went off, there were like lots of different cities. This one's pretty much in one city. So that was weird, because I honestly thought that was like, when the game ended, like your main story ended, I thought that was going to be like the first third of the game or something. It's like, oh, it's over. I can still run around and kill things, but it's over.
Yeah, that's where you're at.
They're very different parts of the city. Like there's the dark side, what's it called? It's like the alleyways, like the seedy underbelly or whatever. And then there's the Chantry, which is, kind of highfalutin and, it's almost like a monastery kind of feel.
But you're not going from like desert to...
No, it's basically a big town. And like I say, you do go to the mountains and you do go to like the Bone Pit, which is a dungeon kind of thing. You do, but they also recycle spaces a lot. But I still think that it's really worth playing. The first one got it drug on a little bit for me.
Right.
And for whatever reason, this one stayed fresh. Now, having said that, there was one major quarrel that I have.
With Dragon Age 2.
Dragon Age 2. I was one of those lucky people that had that glitch that if you talk to everybody before you start this quest, and it's called Wayward Son, if you talk to everybody, you possibly get glitched where you cannot pick up this map you're supposed to pick up. Like you kill the guy and then the map doesn't show up. Like he's supposed to drop the map, but it's nowhere to be seen. I went online and found a lot of people having this problem, and apparently BioWare and EA are not doing anything about it. They haven't done any kind of patch or anything like that.
Well, I mean,
that's really frustrating because I lost. I save it regularly and I save 3 at a time, but I had just happened to save the last time right after I had talked to that person, and so I couldn't. There's nothing I could do. I had to basically start over.
You don't think it's
5 hours?
You don't think it's something silly like because so many people were asking about the treasure map, they decided to hide it someplace else, and now you got to go looking. Just checking.
No, it's well documented online if you take a look at it, and it's just really irritating. So if you play this game, if you haven't played it before, save often and leave long gaps while you save. Like seriously, leave like 6 saves at some time, at some point, especially when you're doing Wayward Son. That's the only one I heard of. There could be more, but BioWare, it's such a big game, they're glitchy, just like Bethesda's glitchy. Yeah. But I guess that's really it. I like this property. I want to see it continue. I hope they're a little bit more diverse in location next time. I think that's the one drawback. I think 2 would have been brilliant if they had, had a little bit more
places to go
and story to it. I mean, there's a lot of emphasis on the magic, and like in this one, in Dragon Age 2, your sister is a mage. You could be a mage too if you choose so, but I'm always like the rogue or something because they're quick and whatever. I'm not really huge into magic, so anyway. But it centers around mages, mages that are not part of the the circle, the Templar, state, the church, whatever. They are apostates, which are like these demonized, you're practicing magic without a license kind of thing, And so they have to defend themselves, and a lot of them go to blood magic, which is this, you use your own life force to enhance your magic kind of thing. And that's really frowned upon, and it seems to drive you insane or make you a demon, an abomination.
Why wouldn't it?
So there is kind of some interesting stuff there. Those that become part of the circle are basically called tranquils, and they lose their personality kind of, And,
Okay.
but they like feed the city with their magic, and then like Templars hate mages, but mages are necessary, and it's just kind of this. It's an interesting social dynamic, political thing. So that's it. I say check it out.
Yeah, I would say check it out. If you like it, then keep playing it.
Okay, that's it.
Okay.
State bastards. Oh,
That's yours.
oh boy, that's mine.
Bye.
We answer one of your comments on the next Focal Point. It's Witchblade Part 2. On today's Duel review, it's Dragon Age, and the Age of Dragons.
Rawr.
I'm RJ.
I'm Nick.
Go on, get to it. On today's on today's Duel review, it's the Dragon Agents.
The Dragon Agents. Let's get to it. Okay.
Here we go.
It's me, Dragon Age.
Shut up, Dragon Age.
What about Dragon Age 3? I thought that was coming out.
Well, yeah, but it hasn't come out yet.
When does it come out?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Am I supposed to know that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Thanks. I don't know. I didn't say anything.
I don't know either.
I haven't heard of it.
Neither have I.
Then why the fuck did you bring it up? That's right, I said fuck. Alright.
Welcome to Tuesday 29th of...
What? I was in the Charles Captain thing. And the Samantha.
Like your face doesn't belong there. Okay, come on.
Now I do that.
Welcome to Tuesday...
Still kind of has,
right.
like in Dragon Age 2. But that's really, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. What the hell are we doing? I think when we hit 100, we should have retired. There's a mage and a rogue and a warrior, and is that it?
I think there's a penguin.
And then there...
A penguin, yeah. The penguin roll is... You see what he has to put up with? Do you see what he has to put up with? Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was doing okay there, too.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so we have the knight, we have the warrior, the mage. Come on, we're good, we can keep going.
Nick likes fruitcake. Go.
So, in Dragon Age, from what I understand, you get to play as an emperor penguin.
What do you... Let's start from the beginning and no penguin. I'm sorry, am I spoiling your fun?
Yes.
Go ahead, do your penguin thing. Fascinating. It's like you're a robot making bread.
Da da da, I need the bread. Da 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 da.
Or you're massaging something. Penguin bread. Alright, let's go.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah!
All right.